Hey, hello YouTubers. This is Francis and I'm here to make a video about some important information I studied in the last couple days. When I went to my therapist appointment a week ago, my therapist suggested that I look up the WPATH, which is WPATH, okay? Standards of care. So I just Googled it, WPATH, and it brings you to website. Okay, so you click on that, and then there's documents you can download on your computer, and they're like PDF files. So I downloaded two documents, and one document was the WPATH Standards of Care. It's a 120-page document, and the last like 20 some odd pages, well, actually the last 30 pages are like 20 pages of books and references that this document is based on, all kinds of doctors and scientific research, and then at the very end they have appendices which kind of summarize things that are spoken in the document. Okay, so it gives you a quick and easy reference to some of the details that were covered inside the document. So anyways, I'm going to share some things that I learned over the last 24 hours. I took notes. I read through both documents. One was 120 pages and one was 68 pages. So, I read through probably 180 or 90 pages, and it probably took me good 10 to 12 hours to do that, take notes. So anyway, so I'm going to start with this YPath document, okay? And there's a lot of information here about different kinds of transgender situations. There's male to female and there's female to male. Well, I only took notes on stuff that affects me. So, but anyways, there's a lot of definitions in this document, and the first 60 pages are like really hard to get through, folks. It's like mostly stuff talking about doctors and information that's it's like way above the regular person's level. Okay. There's a lot of regulations and things and the way all this information's organized, so there's a lot of information in this document that is not really necessary for us to know. And I actually found that most of the information that was pertinent and useful to us is basically on pages 64 through 75. And so right in the middle of the document, there's like 10 pages, and I'm going to go over, just summarize that real quick, okay, and then I'll talk about the other. Okay, so on page 64, it talks about reconstructive versus aesthetic surgery. And then it talks about criteria for surgeries, okay? So anyways, I'm not going to read all this stuff because, but that's on page 64 in this document, okay? And criteria for surgeries, that's like things that have to be met. I mean, you go to counseling, do some psychological counseling, and progress, transition, and there's certain things that have to be accomplished before you're allowed to schedule any kind of surgery. Okay, so anyways, enough said there. And then so on page 65 they have criteria for breast surgery. Then they have on 66, 65, 66, they have criteria for genital surgery. And then that continues on, and it talks about all this criteria that you have to do, okay? And then there's criteria that the health professionals have to abide by. And it talks about what their purpose is in helping the transgendered person to accomplish their goals, okay? So then on page 68, it talks about surgery techniques for the way they do certain things, and then complications that can arise from having surgery, okay? So, and that's covered basically on pages 68 through 70, okay? And it talks about different surgical methods and some of the results in general terms, of course. And then lists other kinds of surgeries also, okay? And then on page 70, section 12, it says post-operative care and follow-up. So they talk about that, you know, and then they talk about lifelong preventative and primary care, and then other types of care between 71 and 75, okay? And, you know, it talks about things that could possibly happen due to having surgery, too, and that's like on page 72. All right? And so that pretty much sums up that document. You know, from page 75 on, there's like 20 pages of references. And I wrote some of them down because some of the books they used and documents they have to support this document, you know, the references are written in the back. There's 20 pages of references. So anyways, I wrote a few of them down because they're kind of caught my interest because of my personal situation. Okay? And then there's some appendices starting on page 101. There's a glossary of terms. And then 103, overview of medical risks of hormone therapy. Then other effects. And it goes all the way out to like Appendix D says evidence for clinical outcomes of therapeutic approaches or something. But as I just kind of wrote some of this stuff down as a reference for me. But essentially that's it. You know, I mean, I'm not going to go over and read a whole bunch of stuff out of these documents. I'm just telling you, it's easy to find this stuff and it's all recorded. If you go to the right page, it's going to give you all the information. Okay. Now, this next document is a smaller document. It's called the International Journal of Transgenderism. And it says standards of care for the health of transsexual, transgender, and gender something. Okay, I don't know. But I'm sorry I missed that abbreviation. But I want to read some things from this document, okay? So it basically says on page 1 of this document, the goal is to provide clinical guidance for health professionals to assist, you know, transsexual, transgender people to achieve lasting personal comfort, maximize overall health and psychological well-being, and self-fulfillment. Okay? Then it talks about gender dysphoria on page 4. It says gender dysphoria refers to discomfort or distress that is caused by a discrepancy between a person's gender identity and that person's sex assigned at birth, okay? So, I mean, I really can't get into that, okay? But that's the definition, okay? So, you know, some people, to put it in extreme terms, you know, like if you're born with male genitalia and you feel inside like you should be a girl, or vice versa. But that isn't true in all cases. So you just can't apply this definition to every single case. This is a very general statement. Okay. So, anyways, and on page 17, it talks about making decisions. When you go to a therapist, they're there to help you and help you become fully informed and about all the procedures and what all is involved. And you know, you're documenting the fact that you're getting educated about all the things. You know, if you take hormone replacement therapy, what's going to happen. Some of these effects are irreversible. So they want to make sure you understand all these things, okay? But primarily, decisions about hormones are first and foremost a client's decisions. And the therapist or counselor is there to make sure that you make a fully informed decision, okay? So, you know, people talk about them being the gatekeepers and everything. Well, that might be true to a certain extent, but they just want to make sure that you're sure that you're making the right decision, okay? The ultimate responsibility of your transition rests upon you. Each individual has to review all the facts and criteria and their personal individual situation and make that decision. Okay, I gotta keep moving here. On page 18, there's a list of things, recommended content of referral letter for hormone replacement therapy. And it lists all the things that the counselor or therapist is going to put in that letter. And you need that letter to be able to go to endocrinologists to get a prescription for these medications, okay? And another thing I wanted to share on page 19, it talks about the goals of psychotherapy for adults with gender concerns, okay? So the goal of psychotherapy is to maximize a person's overall psychological well-being, quality of life, and self-fulfillment, okay? Psychotherapy is not intended to alter a person's gender identity, rather to help an individual to explore gender concerns and find ways to alleviate gender dysphoria if it is present, okay? So the treatment goal is to help people achieve long-term comfort in their gender identity expression with realistic chances for success in their relationships, education, work, you know, all those other areas of okay. And then on page 25, there's a table that says the effects and expected time course of feminizing hormones. And they also have another table for masculinizing hormones. But it basically gives you the effect, I wrote this down, gives you the effect, estimated onset, and expected maximum effect when it's going to occur. So this table exists on this one page, okay? So that's very useful to know, okay? And I guess that's pretty much it that I wanted to go over in this video. So it's short and sweet. I wanted to get this in under 15 minutes. You know, I mean, I didn't give you a lot of details here, but I just wanted, my purpose was to give you a quick overview. And, you know, if you are on HRT or you want to do it, you should read these documents. It's worth a day's time or 8 to 12 hours to read through all this stuff. And this is just the start. I mean, all the books you can read for your own specific situation and consequences or condition, because everybody's an individual. Everybody's different, okay? Not everybody's the same, and you know, so that's the value of going to see a therapist. They're educated and they're licensed as a health professional, and they use their knowledge and experience to help you make the right decisions and to alleviate your discomfort and distress. I mean, that's what this is all about, so that people can maximize their, you know, overall health psychological well-being and have fulfillment in their life. Okay? And I think that's important, you know. If for some reason, you know, some people, they get married and maybe they never had sex before they got married. You know, they're very religious and they discover after they're married, when they do have sex with their spouse in bed, that things aren't working out the way the original designer was intended. Maybe there's physical or mental issues there, and you know, it's kind of tough way to find out, but I mean, that's the way it is, right? I mean, you know, if you're a religious person, you know, technically you're not even supposed to have sex until after you say I do at the altar, and then you go on your honeymoon, and then it's like discovery, right? So, you know, uh, and sometimes we discover that, like, hey, things don't seem to be working as designed here. What's going on, you know? So, you know, I just want anybody that is straight and thinks that we're a bunch of freaks. Well, you know what? We're not, okay? People live their lives and they find out that, like, well, things didn't chooch the way maybe God intended. And then we want to have our life. We're pursuing happiness. We want to have, you know, fulfillment. Don't we have the right to have that? Don't we have a right to maximize our overall health and to seek lasting personal comfort? You know, I mean, these things are important, you know, for each individual, and each individual's different. So all you people out there that hate people that are different from you know, you can use religion as a baseball bat and smash people on the head with it, right? Or you can be charitable and loving and do what Jesus would do, you know? I mean, actually, he died on the cross for all our sins, didn't he? You didn't pay for any of my sins, so who are you to judge me? Okay? And, you know, I'm sorry I'm starting to rant here, but some of these religious people really get my goat. You know, they're not even educated. You know, in fact, they don't even read the Bible on their own or study it. They rely on what the preacher says up front, and then they follow him like a bunch of blind sheep. Well, you know what? I'm not like that. Okay, I've always researched things for myself. Okay, I'm an engineer. You know, and I'm going to seek. If I get a document, I'm going to study it. I'm going to get educated about it. You know. And that's the way I am. I don't just follow people around because they play a flute like or a Pied Piper, okay? I check things out for myself. And I think that's important. Now all people don't do that, and maybe they don't really care. They just do what they want to do, and to hell with everybody else. I know a lot of people have that attitude. So, but anyways, I'm just trying to tell you, you know, I mean, there are resources out here, and you wouldn't believe how many hundreds of doctors and health professionals have written all these books and done all this research on transgender stuff. It's unbelievable. You know, so all you ignorant people out there, you're gonna stay ignorant and in your narrow-mindedness and stay ignorant for the rest of your life, or maybe you'll do some restart reading. I mean, this is not science fiction, folks. This is what's really happening in our country, you know, and it affects a lot of people. So you know, I think everybody should maybe instead of turn the boob tube off and start reading and studying some things before you start blurting stuff out of your mouth that just hurts and negatively affects people. You know, you think about all the time you spend watching TV or playing video games. If you were like really seriously loving and interested in other people, you could like read a few books. and maybe become a more understanding, loving person. Okay, 20 minutes. I'm allowed to go up over 25 minutes, but I'm going to cut this short. Okay, so anyways, I can just keep gabbing and gabbing and gabbing, and that's the way I am. But anyways, I'm going to cut this off. It's on 20 and a half minutes. So, hey, love everybody. I hope what I said was beneficial. Go to those websites, read those documents for yourself, and because there's information that's vital. And you'll see that, like, these therapists and psychological professionals, they're out there to help you. Okay? When you go there, you're hiring them, their expertise and their education, and you share with them your life, and then they do an evaluation. And it's not just some off the wall thing, it's based on real research that many doctors from many countries all over the world have studied this, and you know, and all their research is based on real people and patients. Okay, well, enough said. So I love you all, and hope to see you again soon. Love everybody. God bless you.